So Paul, welcome to our program. We have in this program right now 10 people, and they are going to be participating actively in this exercise. And everybody will have different opportunities to practice in different ways. But I want to let you to first introduce yourself. Let people know what you want people to know about you, and then what we're going to be doing today.
Thank you, Damian. First off, before I forget, for the 10 of you that will be participating in this exercise today, if you can, please have a pen and paper handy. We're going to be doing a short free write, reflective exercise. As supervision and coaching in life, reflection, self-reflection is very important. And I find when we do these types of group exercises, taking moments to have a bit of introspection and reflection is wonderful priming, so that when we share with our colleagues, we're better able to go deeper and share further. My name is Paul Sanbar. I'm honored, Damien, that you having me here. Lynn, my fellow cohort 7 friend, it's great to see you and everybody else that I know so well. Interestingly, this last year has been, so much of it has been around pivoting, been around taking maybe something that you already knew well and adjusting it to fit into whatever this last year has been. So Damien did say that I loved playing. I still love playing and using Legos as a facilitation tool to facilitate deep conversations, using metaphors and meaning making as a way to bring about personal awareness and create wonderful reflective spaces. Unfortunately, nobody wants to play with my Legos in 2020. So what we have to do is we have to adjust. And I was introduced to this visual and virtual collaboration tool called Mural a little over a year ago. Mural is a whiteboard that people can come together and collaborate on. Now, most of what Mural is used for is for designing sessions, retrospectives, lots of design thinking. Companies come together to collaborate, especially in this year with remote work. Supervision is a little different, but the one powerful thing that Mural allows all of us to do is to create visual representations and to collaborate and to think visually. The one thing that I love about Legos is that we use our full bodies to think. These tools here are things that we've been using since we realized we had them. We don't use them as much anymore. And the interesting thing is that so much of our thinking and our creative processing goes down all the way into the end of our fingertips. And so when we use our hands to engage our visual mind and our emotional mind, we're thinking with our full bodies. And so using Mural, which I'm going to show you a bit more, and for the 10 of you, you're going to have an activity using this. You will get to see what you are thinking, and other people will also get to see what you're thinking, which creates an interesting resonance and a creative space that allows us to think for ourselves, but also think and support each other. So hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. I'm going to show you what I've been talking about, because that is the best way most of us learn in a moment. That is my long explanation, Damien. Hopefully you didn't mind that.
No, that's great. So
Great.
do you want to tell for people who are here for first time, what will be the dynamic so everybody know what to expect? So that I go.
Great, yeah. So in just a moment, I'm going to invite the 10 of you into this reflective space. I'm going to share a mural, which is a whiteboard. I have created a template around this mural, and I'll show you that. I'm going to ask you to I'll explain the activity once I open up the screen. For everybody else, this is an opportunity to see how this technology is used, see how we can the intersection of visual collaboration with technology and creativity with creating reflective spaces, which, as we know, as coaches and supervisors, we try to do. So for the rest of you, if you can go ahead and turn off your cameras, you will be viewing. I'll be sharing the screen. Actually, Damien, if you can allow me to share my screen in just a moment so that I can share with the 10 of you. And if you don't know how to do this, you can, let's see, they've they keep changing. Zoom keeps changing all the things. You can remove the non-video people to just so that it's just the people watching. Let me make sure. Let me do that myself.
So Paul, are the 10
Yes.
of us the people in cohort 12?
Yes, Damien,
Okay.
that is correct, right?
Yeah. So the participants are going to be, I don't know if there is somebody for some reason doesn't want to participate. We may know, you let us know. But that was a good number of participants to have experience, and everybody else can still benefit from learning about what happened here. So it's going to be learning for everybody, not only for the 10 who participate, but the 10 are going to be the ones doing the exercise, and the observers will learn from the experience.
Great. Yes, thank you, Damien. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen, and we're going to start. We're going to do an exercise called tree perspectives, and this is, I have to pay homage to the person who created the analog version of this, which her name is Jackie Holder. I have taken what she created and created a digital version of it because we are all working at a distance. Some of us did that a little bit before this year. Some of us are doing gonna plan to do more of it going forward, and so having a tool like this that we can bring people together is a wonderful way to collaborate visually. I asked everybody, if you didn't hear me, please have a pen and paper handy. We're going to do a free write in just a moment. And so I'm going to share the screen. And thumbs up, everybody's able to see my screen here. Great, okay. So what you see before you is a mural. Normally it is, and before we get into the exercise, I'm going to give just a bit more backstory about what murals are. Generally, a mural is just a blank whiteboard that is used in two ways. The way we're going to use it today, we're going to use it in where I am just sharing the mural and you are going to participate from afar. At the end, I might actually invite all of you into the mural to actually play around and collaborate together if we have time. But for right now, we're using this as a tool to create and express together. So this activity is called Tree Perspectives. And generally, what I normally use this activity in group supervision. I do it individually, but I normally will do it in group supervision in the first session when we are working to get themes and understand a little bit more about the type of cases, the type of work that we all want to work together. So oftentimes I will also use it for specifically what we normally use with supervision, where we bring in a case. And if you want to actually bring in a case as we reflect on the tree that we choose, which I will explain in a moment, you're absolutely free to do that. But for the purposes of today, if you just feel comfortable thinking about your practice in general, themes that are coming up for you in general, that is a-okay. Before we get into that, let's just all situate ourselves into this moment. Let's take a nice deep breath. And with our arboreal theme today, let's just take a few moments to root ourselves into this moment. Close your eyes if you'd like. Choose to Notice your backside or your feet firmly placed against the ground. Take a breath, and as you exhale, find yourself grounded into this moment. Connected, growing, alive, much like the trees that we are going to view today. Before we go any further, it's important, like with any group supervision session, regardless of what topics we go into, that we have to do a bit of contracting. And so whenever you're ready, take that last deep breath and exhale. Find yourself into this moment. We're going to do a bit of group contracting. So this is a collaboration. I am going to move into the contracting area. And what do we need to do as a group, knowing that we do have people viewing from outside that we may not even know? What do we need to do with the 10 of us to allow ourselves to feel safe and comfortable sharing? Anybody want to share? Yeah, Kimberly.
Have confidentiality.
Sure. Thank you. All right. And that is everybody here listening beyond the 10 in the room. Please do keep this all to yourselves. And what else? Tracy?
Sure. Well, I mean, we know each other already, and I know a lot of the people viewing. So I think keep it light.
Okay.
Have fun.
Okay, have fun. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to add to that, I love that, light, have fun, and be just open, to enjoy the process.
Okay. Thank you. And I believe that was Sunny's voice. Is that?
Oh, that was Sue.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sue. I'm sorry, Sue. I thought I heard Sunny. I apologize. I should have looked. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sue. Anything else that we need to share?
Ensure a safe space.
Thank you. And that was Sue, right?
No, that was
Kidding.
Sunny.
I'm kidding. I'm having fun here. I'm keeping it light. No, I'm kidding.
Call me Sunny from now on.
I'm kidding.
Sunny, are you okay?
No. I'm anything else? Let's definitely anybody else want to share anything to
be present.
Be present. Yeah. Okay. All right. We will have opportunities to ask each other some questions like we do in group supervision. So one thing that I ask is that we assume positive intent, and last is that we can pass if somebody asks us a question. Is that okay for the group? Okay. All right. So how are we? Are we ready to do this activity? Great. Okay, so I'm pulling up the curtain just to share. This is one way that we can collaborate visually. I, of course, just have this on my own, and we are working with this. If we were a group and we were all using this together, we could all write on sticky notes our group commitments and then agree together, and I'll share more about that at the end. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I want you to look at this prompt at the bottom. And the reason why I really love trees is that they are alive. They speak so much to nature. There's a sturdiness about them. They're growing. They have to be nurtured. They're so present in our lives, and but they're also different. And in a moment, we're gonna look through a lot of different trees. And what I want you to do, I apologize, let me get that so everybody can read it, is to consider what parallels, connections, similarities, or differences the tree stimulates in relation to a specific client or your practice in general. And so what I'm going to go do now, I'm going to run through these trees 2 times. The first time I'm going to take a few more moments, look through every tree, and I want you to just see what tree may speak to you in a different way. Then we're going to go through one more time. And when I go through it one more time, I do need to hear you say stop or say your name. And I'm going to choose that tree and I'm going to share that tree with you in chat. So that will be your tree to reflect upon for the rest of this activity. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. So here we go. I'm going to spend just a few moments on each tree.
Paul, just one thing is that we have 2 participants from China.
Okay.
Sometimes we want to be sure that they really follow. So Steven,
Okay.
if you follow, they want to be sure that sometimes want to clarify that.
Yes, and I'm almost following.
Okay, great.
I'm trying
Don't be sure. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask. Okay, if you need anything for you too.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So we're going to go through one time. And then we're going to go through a second. So I'm going to scroll to look at the one. Here's our first tree. Sorry about that. Just a few more. All right. So we're going to go through them all one more time. And please, it's the middle. It'll always be the middle image. You'll be able to see a few other trees in the image, but it's always the middle one. Please say stop, and I will select it and put it into chat. And so when I put it into the chat room, please do grab it and open it on your own screen. All right.
Paul,
So,
also,
yes.
when you move your cursor, I think that helps. If you put the cursor in the tree,
Yeah.
that
Yes,
will
I will.
reinforce to be sure that they are looking at the.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Damian.
Paul,
Yes.
is it only one person who can choose that particular tree?
Oh, Sonny, thank you so much. I completely forgot. No, it's actually really interesting when two people pick the same tree, and because they see something that could be totally different. So yes, thank you, Sonny. I totally forgot to share that. Please, if two people or three or four pick the same tree, we will see what comes up for them. It may be something completely different.
And will you be showing them in the same order?
I will be showing them in the same order.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wish they were numbered.
So I may do that next time. Here's one.
Stop.
Okay.
That was Sue.
All right.
No, not that one.
No.
Maybe I was looking at the wrong one. You go back.
I think we will get to it if it wasn't this one.
Okay.
Okay. Was it one of these right here?
I can't see the one above. It was not. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right.
Stop.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. I can tell you normally we do this with about four to six people. So this is a little different with 10, but we're making the most of it. So
Okay.
and everybody else watching, your patience, please. So I just sent you your tree. Just keep that handy. Make sure you click on it. All right.
Stop,
Gotcha.
Sunny.
All right. Sunny, here is your tree. It is in chat.
I don't see it.
In the chat, it's the second one in chat, the tree center.
I'm looking in chat and I don't see it. I don't.
Click on
Is
it.
it? Is it to everyone?
Yeah, there should be a link to.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Okay, great. All right, here's the next one.
Stop.
Right.
No, it wasn't that one. It was the one of all the colors in the long
To the left.
The row?
Yes.
To the left, the orange ones, that one.
Yes, gotcha.
Thank you.
All right, sharing it now. All right, here we go.
Stop.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, stop. This one.
Wonderful.
Jeff, yeah, this one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just make sure. All right, so we have two here, Jeff, and who else was doing that one? I'll be interested to see what you see. So here's the next one.
Stop.
All right. Your
No,
tree.
not that one. Not that one. Sorry,
No,
Paul.
that's okay.
No, the other one.
Below.
Go back. No, I saw. Go back a little bit. Yeah, that one. That one.
This
In
one.
the middle. Yes, yes.
Okay, so disregard the one that says the PacificHomes.com one. Disregard that one.
And Paul, I don't
Yes.
see mine. I don't see mine.
Yes. We have a few more to go.
Or I think I chose the other one when I put stop up. My microphone was mute.
Oh, okay. What did it look like? Who doesn't have one yet? You can
It looked like a
Wow.
tree.
It looked like a tree? Okay.
I don't
this
have
one.
mine either. So
Bottom. The bottom
Okay, so
one.
I'm gonna if I'm gonna just put my cursor over.
Mine
To
was
the
the
right,
second.
please. To the right.
To the right here.
The bottom one here. The right.
This
With
one
the
here.
cliff. The cliff.
Ah, the
With
cliff.
rock.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
that's the one.
was
That's
that
for
is
me.
always a popular one.
that's the one I wanted. Was the cliff?
Wonderful.
I don't see it.
It's coming in chat right now. So 2 of you have it, and I'll be interested to see how people reflect differently seeing this tree.
This one is the static frequency, right? Which one?
Yeah. So does everybody have a tree?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Mine was the second one. The one I wanted was the second one you showed first time around.
That's this is number 2 here.
Yeah, all right, that's the one I want.
Okay. All right. So does everybody have their tree?
Paul, I
Yes.
want the one at the right side, upper one with the yellow. Yes.
Yellow,
that one.
yes. Okay.
No leaves.
All right. It is the last one that is in the chat room. Does everybody have their tree?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
my friends. So what I want you to do is reflect upon this tree. You're gonna have 4 minutes to just have a free write. Try not to worry about grammar or spelling. If you don't know what to do, start doodling the tree, whatever comes to you, but just try to just let whatever inside is out and think about the aspects of your practice that this tree reminds you of. A theme, who you are as a growing, budding supervisor, as a coach, wherever it is. We have lots of different things that you can share. So we're going to take just 4 minutes, and I apologize for everybody else that isn't. If you found a tree that you liked and you want to do your own free writing, please do, and go ahead and turn your cameras off, and then come back on when you are ready to share. And we'll start the exercise right now. All right, just about another minute left. All right, start wrapping up your free write. And I'm realizing 10 people is I think we're doing great for 10 people. Normally what I will do is I will put each one into a specific area, but I lost track with all 10 of us who was in which one. So so what I'd like to do is just to have each one of you share a little bit about what came up for you. Share with the group about themes, about what this tree represents for you. And we're going to have a few other questions to go through as we continue with this exercise. Who would like to share first and share the specific tree, so that just remind me of which one, so that I can pull it up on the screen and everybody can look at it.
Can do it first.
Danny, okay. Your tree, you chose which one?
The cliff.
The cliff. That's what I thought. Yes. Okay. So yeah, Danny, tell us a little bit about what was coming up for you why you chose this tree.
Yeah, the first time I saw it when you put it up, and I immediately attracted to this tree. So then the second choice, then I'm clear in my mind on this one. This is reminded me of being a CEO is lonely at the top. So then I'm also coaching CEOs, and they are also expressing that they are lonely at the top. So the wind over there is very strong at the top, right? So many things, and then a lot of challenges and all that. And it's being transparent. Everybody looks at you, and then at the person, the tree. It's the only tree on that one, right? Some bush there, of course. And then you are dancing naked in the glass box. So everybody's looking at you. So if you say something wrong, everybody knows it already. So across the organization. So then the keyword is really doing good anyway, be honest and be authentic. So then people will talk about you, but then they cannot talk about bad things. It's only talking about good things, right? So then being there seems to be impossible to a tree to grow in that kind of rocks. But then being a CEO is impossible. It's turning it to the I am possible. Impossible becoming I am possible. So it's turning around almost bankrupt companies and all that thing to be profitable growth for the stakeholders. So then zero to hero and all that things. I think I've been coaching clients who are in the CEO positions, and they are really being helped to grow the company. So I think that's the reflection I have from this picture. Thank you.
Yeah. And so I would invite other people in the group to ask Danny a question about this. But if you would like to try to take it a step further, potentially ask a question of the tree, or use images of the tree to ask Danny a question. I will do an example of that, and you don't have to try it in this way. But Danny, I'm just curious. How do you take care of yourself as this tree, working with the clients that you do? It looks very dry up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
how do you care for yourself?
That's very good question. How do I care about myself? So then, actually, then I need to really, as I mentioned, just do good, be honest, and then look at all this impossible, and then I put myself and see that from above in the helicopter view. I don't have any water from under, but then it's going to be hoping there's rain. Could be rain coming in, maybe in a few months or a week, and so on and so forth. So then I can use that water to really. Every drop of water is very valuable. So then, in the company, every cent is countable to make the company to be profitable again.
Thank you, Danny. For the sake of time, let's continue to move on. If other people have questions to ask of Danny at the end, if we have more time, we'll do that. Yes. Oh.
I just wanted to ask another question.
Sure. Go ahead and ask, and yeah.
Danny, how much do you enjoy being a tree like this?
Well, actually, it's not pretty much about enjoying. I would say I'm grateful. I'm exist under the tree, among others. You see, compared to the cliff and all that things, I think I'm grateful being myself. So I'm grateful also surrounded by this wind and the blue sky, and even some lizard coming in and all that. So I would say that being a tree, I'm grateful being whatever that I'm here.
Thank you, Danny. And I see a wonderful question from Sue as well. For the sake of time, with so many of us, we don't have time to go really deep today, but if you do have a question that you want to pose to your colleague there, if we run out of time, please do so. So let's keep moving. We'll keep having some fun reflecting on these trees. I know we have a second person with the same tree, but we'll come back around for that.
I'm happy to.
Jeff, you had the same tree?
No, different tree.
Okay, correct, yes.
So it's actually two above it. The second one above.
Yes, yes. All right, so tell us what came up for you.
I think for me, I saw it very much as kind of the dance of coaching and the interaction of the two people trying to bring themselves close and understand each other, and that kind of the shedding of the bark kind of sometimes being from the rubs that might occur through some challenging and the degree of that wanting to make that balance between it being gentle, constructive, challenging to it not being something that inhibits openness and growth. But also there's shedding on the side where there isn't the rubbing, which is just from maybe getting perspective on yourself. And that's occurring for both parties, both the coachee and the coach. But I think what's really interesting is through that whole experience of what's going on there, clearly growth is coming because there's the upward movement, there's the solidity of the trunks, and so the dance kind of that goes on there leads to, in success, it's kind of a connection, but not a crushing. It's a growth and it's a strength that's coming, and that vulnerability is revealed, and almost like that working well together in there. And sometimes even I thought, even with the twist, it's like sometimes it might feel you're going round and round as well.
Yeah, I was curious what was just above the top of this image. So many things to
well, that was interesting because it is like, you're doing this without necessarily knowing where you are going. There isn't an intentionality of what an end point or what comes above it. It's the discovery together.
Yeah. We show up in our client's life at a particular time. We dance, we move around, and then hopefully we see them continue to grow. So thank you. Does anybody have a reflective or process question for Jeff on this picture? Sue you can share that out loud. We'll take just another moment. I realize for the sake of time, but yeah, please.
Partially because, again, it's cut off, so we can't see the below or the above. But I wondered if, with all those good things, if we could ever feel smothering. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because the thing that did cross me is almost that the risk of conspiracy and complacency. You know, that you could be conspiring to be in a good place together, you know, rather than pulling apart and what that might lead to.
Yeah.
And also you know, you could get too cozy and twined together.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that this is what it is, but if we were starting a group together and that was the image, that may be a theme that was coming up with a particular client or something that we could delve deeper into as we progressed with our group together. And I'm just sharing that as how he used this to begin the foundation of a group supervision engagement. So I'm seeing other questions. Let's continue to move on so everybody has a chance to share.
Can I go?
I'll go next.
Sue, and then, Sue, and then.
So my tree is over, it was number 2, whichever one was number 2 way back. I think it was this one right, I can't. Yeah, there it is. Okay. That's it. Great. Thank you. So this tree, this person perhaps feels alone, a bit barren, somewhat dried up. Some parts are dead and other parts are still green. And I'm wondering if this tree is going to grow or die. I'm thinking about my practice now, so just to put that into context. I'm wondering where this tree is getting its nourishment. I see this tree still having beauty and strength, but an image that came up for me is, if anyone knows the show Cats, there's a cat that is Grisabella, who is very old and tattered, and yet she is the one who is chosen to rise up. So is she old and tattered and in that place, or is she rising up? Around this tree are things that have had their season, but the sky is blue. And a question for myself is a worriness about solitude.
You said, but the sky is blue. I'm wondering if you could, if there was a more representative sky or weather.
Well,
yeah.
It's not. I mean, the environment around it is one of light, opening, maybe a little bit of hope. It's not raining. It's not dark. So this tree is existing in an environment that appears to be a beautiful day, at least. So, you know, we can talk about our seven-eyed model, but this tree is way out there in I-7, I think, and trying to figure out maybe where it fits in that broader landscape.
Thank you, Sue. Any reflective questions for Sue? We will all go around at the end and have one last very brief reflection. All right, let's move on. Who wants to go next?
I'll just say, Sue, I see you. I see you as Mr. Mistopheles, not Grisabella.
Interesting. I will pay attention to that, Steve. Or maybe Rum Tum Tugger.
All right. Who else? Who would like to go next?
I go next.
Okay,
on the top, the second one from the right, the baobab tree.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So tell us what spoke to you about this tree.
I think sometimes I meet clients like this, like they look at his trunk. They have used all the resource. They grew up a lot. They did a lot, but eventually look up at the branches. No leaves, no fruits. You know, like nothing. And sometimes they feel like that. They feel like they burn out. They burn themselves. But eventually they end up with nothing. And as a coach, I really cannot do anything. I cannot do anything to help them. It's their choice to see if there's any other resource that they can utilize, anything else they can do to make the leaves come out again. That's really their choice, you know, to look deep inside themselves, to see any resource that they have and they can use. And as a coach, I can just be there with them, and I can just, you know, help them to look inside. But I can do anything. I cannot do anything. That's what I mean. So that this picture reminds me about, you know, being a coach, how humble we need to be, but how strong we need to be as well to believe in the possibilities, and to believe in the strength of the inner strength of the client. And we eventually need to understand that that's their life, that there's choice. They need to make the decision by themselves. They need to take responsibilities by themselves. And we need to be really humble with what we can do. Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts, reflections for Tram?
Thought, okay, this is a reflection.
Sure.
I'm hearing a lot of wanting. And I'm wondering, wanting for the client. And I'm wondering when you can't take them to the place of possibility as you see it, where that leaves you. Because you're talking a lot about them, and I'm curious about you.
Should I answer it now? Or?
If you can think, say, you can take the reflection, you can share something coming up. It is completely up to you. But you do not have to answer anything if you don't.
All right. So thank you, Sue, for the question. I share later.
Okay. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's continue onward. Tracy.
Sure, I'll go next. So I have the top right.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that's an oak, but I'm guessing it is.
We're going to call it an oak.
That's what it means to me.
Yes.
And so, I mean, the first thing that captured my attention was spaciousness, because that's something that I've been trying to invite into my practice as a coach and as a supervisor, and I'm loving it. I mean, that's lightness to me. And so I love creating space, and it feels right. But then it reminds me not just of a tree, but of really positive times in my own growth. And so I've come to really appreciate the oak woodlands. I love California, and that's where I'm really happy to be rooted now, I guess you could say. And it also reminds me of transformation, because I worked at the Nature Conservancy for some time, and I learned and I grew so much through that. Actually, I learned from someone who took me on all sorts of hikes that taught me about the different types of oak trees. And that was new learning that I didn't even think was possible. I mean, because I wasn't like interested in it necessarily, like knowing the different varieties. But for me, you know, even though this appears alone, I've learned that the oak trees are not really alone. Like they're joined in different ways, like it's a part of a whole ecosystem. And so I just think of it as beautiful. It's positive energy. It's not just about this tree or the environment around it. It's about magical moments of connection and growth for me. So it just represents so much. But originally, it was the spaciousness that attracted me.
Wonderful. All right. I see some reflections in the chat room. So let's keep moving on. Who has yet to go? Stephen, yay? Yours was, trying to remember here. You're on mute, my friend. Oh, there we go.
I've chosen the same tree with train.
This was it. It was this same one, yeah.
No, the upper one.
The same as Tracy's.
The fourth up from the top. Yes.
Trums. The same one as Trum.
Ah, that's correct. Yes. Okay, Stephen, tell us what this tree represents what to you?
No, not this one.
Not this one.
The one, yes, this is one.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Sorry.
No worries.
I have the similar feelings with trains, but I think this is just like more like my coachee or supervisee, and they are full of energy in them. Oh, you have changed. Not that tree. No, not that tree. The other ones. The ones left.
Okay.
Left. Yes. The one left, not that tree.
This this one?
No, not this one. Not this one. The ones left, the middle one. Yes, this is the tree.
Yes. The same. This one?
Trend. Yes, this one.
Okay.
No. Oh
Not
my
this
God.
The middle one, I think.
The middle ones, yes.
No, next to the left, Paul.
Next to the left, right.
Sorry, the right, yeah. The one in the middle,
right
top middle.
This one?
No, next to it, on the right, yeah.
Yes. Oh. What's happening?
Maybe it's in reverse or something.
Okay, but it is this one though.
This one.
No, on the left of this one. Is it?
The one, the tree with the
this one.
Next to the bubble one.
The gray one.
I'm gonna span back.
Well, maybe let Stephen.
Sure. Yeah. So this.
The
I have
one next to the bubble one, isn't it?
I have my
next
cursor.
To the bubble one on the left.
Over this one.
Yes, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the middle in the top, on the top.
Okay, so he sent a link to it, and what's happening is there must be a delay. I think there's a delay, Paul. So it is the same one, that one.
Okay. 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 So tell us, share a bit about this tree.
Oh, this is not my tree.
Next to it, Paul. Next to it on the left.
What can be helpful is if you describe, how is, I think it's the trees together that are together. This is
the one.
You want to describe what is in the tree?
That's the middle.
Yes,
that one, the two trees together.
I don't know what happened.
Parts together.
Yes, this trees have a very large body, and it seems that there is no leaves in it. But on my opinions, it's just like my coachee or my supervisee. They are full of energy inside of them, and they will grow a very green and trees. And I just like the earth around this tree and waiting for these big trees growing up. And for me, it is just like it grows very high, and the skies are very open, and the skies are clean, So there is a lot of opportunity for these trees, and it's vivid, and these trees are growing up very happily and very have a lot of opportunity for them. So I think it's, when I look at it, I feel very, very energetic. And yes, this is what I feel and what I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, my turn.
Yes. And
So I did the color, yellow color tree.
Yes.
The top right.
Yes. Here we are.
Yeah. Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I like the tree. There are many these kind of trees in the park close to where I live. So whenever I pass them, I will stay and feel, and also look at the beautiful leaves, and the color of the leaves remind me season of harvest. And I see Supervision is also a harvest place, the harvest of learning. And also I see many of these kind of trees. So they survive. It's ordinary and beautiful existing. So and they have sometimes I see the tree without the leaves. I don't know how it will appear for the next season, but they will burst into this beautiful looking every year. So that's the tree I use it for my supervision. Yes.
So you mentioned it loses its leaves and then it comes back. How does that correlate with your practice, your supervision, your growing supervision practice, or what you want it to be like?
It's a kind of place that you can stay and stop to explore. So you feel very comfortable in that place. And it's a place of harvest. You can harvest your learning together, and also it's a kind of to find the beauty. A place to find beauty. Yes.
Thank you. Any other reflections for Lou? Okay, not everybody has gone. Kimberly and then Sunny.
Mine is the 2 rows of the bright orange.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was musing on the people in my practice and how beneath everything in life there's a wonderful structure and rhythm, and how above that the colors, the seasons change and such, and then it totally disappeared and I lost it. And the board came back on. And so kind of on a meta level, what I'm realizing is, that's that makes a lot of sense. It's like underneath all the coverings and such, wonderful structure and knowing and rhythm about every human being. But when I look at my practice, it's kind of like, yes, I've had this 20-year coaching practice and I've been mentoring for 18 years. And I've had this sense of I really know what I'm doing. And then it's like, it's gone. That's what I'm learning in supervision, is that it's all there underneath, but it's all disappearing while I get to learn more at other levels in the supervision practice. So kind of 2 different levels for me.
Yeah. It was all there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your patience with this one. I'm glad you were able to. I'm glad we were able to find it again.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Sunny.
To the right.
To the right.
My right. I don't know if it's your right.
Does it go this way?
This one. Yeah.
Okay.
The bright leaves. No, the other way.
The all the way in the corner. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Guess that's what I thought.
Now,
okay.
This actually is what's called a scarlet oak. And oak trees are very, very strong, have very strong wood. A lot of furniture is made from oak, which people probably know. I was really attracted to the vibrant colors and the fact that the tree was interacting with the season. And in a sense, it was leading because the other trees in the background are still green. So it represented a leadership for me. And all the branches, even though they're turning red, trees usually have roots that extend to the same measure as their branches and their leaves. So I could see what was underneath and deep, which is what happens in supervision a lot of times. There are things there that we don't see at first. And I think it was just a little bit ahead of the other trees, which is, as I said, represented kind of leadership to me, but still among other trees. A lot of the other pictures had trees all by themselves. And that didn't, I think supervision is much more interactive and provides a reflection. And that's what the blue sky and the tree represented to me.
Thank you. So we've all had a chance to go, right? Okay. So what I'd like to do now is just to
Paul, I haven't gone yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
It happens to me a lot. People forget about it.
Sorry, Steve.
No problem.
You had to say we had the same.
I'm not taking it personally.
I'd like to discuss that comment.
I believe I remember.
So
the
I had
tree,
the same tree. I had the same picture as Danny.
Correct.
And
yes.
What's interesting about this is, I kind of had an advantage of going last because as I wrote my notes, I started modifying them and adding, editing. And I think if we all looked at our trees a couple hours from now, a couple of days from now, a couple of months from now, we might have a different perspective on it. So this reminded me of Camelback Mountain in Scottsdale, Arizona, hiking those mountains. So I enjoy hiking, and for me, it's all about, when working with clients, it's the journey along the way. It's the exploration. I'm thinking of scaling this rock. Surprises along the way, surprises for me, surprises for the client, what I'm learning about them, what they're learning about themselves. I also have here, this is life in the middle of nowhere. So it's getting energy from somewhere, sunlight, and from beneath. I'm looking at this as part of a bigger system. Okay. I'm wondering what else is, in this picture that I'm not seeing. This is clients are unique. And if I look at it from this perspective, I have one view of the client, but what if I came up the other side? Okay. Or the other side, or looked at it from this side. And that's for the client as well. It's all about confident about not knowing as we're making this climb together. What's the view at the top? And then I noticed, after looking at it for a while, there's a small patch of grass on the lower part of the picture. So there's other life there, which I didn't notice before. The rock is the foundation. It looks solid, but maybe it's not. So as we work with our clients, we get to know that. I wonder how long that the tree has been there, how much it's grown since last year or 5 years ago. Has it stopped growing? If it has, what, maybe it's reached its potential, or is that it in that space? And possibly, what if we were to transplant this tree to more fertile soil? What would happen to the tree then? So that's what I have to share about the picture.
Thank you, Steve. All right. So what we're going to do now is just one last final reflection. And then I'm going to just ask everybody to go around and just share one word from the reflection. So I want you to just think about, how could this tree be a resource for you in the future? Imagine if your tree, with all of its wisdom, was sharing with you, sharing some wisdom with you. What ideas, what would it share to you? Maybe if you climbed into that tree, or you were just on your own and that tree shared some insights with you, what would it say? And just reflect on that for a moment, and then let's just individually go around one more time and just share one word of that tree's reflection back to you. All right. We'd like to just share a word of reflection of their tree and that wisdom. Kimberly.
Backbone.
Congruent.
Boundaries.
Reflective.
Grateful.
Inner strength.
Beauty home of humanity.
Spacious.
Connecting.
Again, Stephen?
Connecting.
Connection. Thank you.
And I couldn't hear tram.
Oh, I said inner strength.
Thank you.
Okay, have we all gone? Yeah. So just to share briefly, normally when we have a slightly more intimate group with 3 to 5 people in the group, we're able to really delve a lot deeper into everybody's, and there's much more of a conversation that occurs. I'm realizing this has been wonderful to be able to share it with you, the 10 of you, and then of course with the other 10 or so people on the call, that we're learning and growing, and what I'm just noticing is it's the opportunity for us to go even deeper, to dig deeper with our trees. And so, as I shared, this is an activity that I like to do at the beginning of a group or individually, just to talk about different themes that are coming up for us to maybe delve deeper, specifically with cases later on in a group engagement, or of course individually. The other thing that happens, and Damien, I'll have you come back. I assume if we're going to continue on for a bit, I assume people may want to take a brief break. But yeah.
Break, and then we may engage people who are observers. Maybe they want to share something that they learn, or any insights or comments or reactions.
Yeah, great. Okay. So we'll take a break now, and we'll come back. Is that?
Yeah, let's take a 5 minutes break to stretch, and then let's be back in 5 minutes. And then, Paul, if you want, we can ask people the observers, to share some insights. And sometimes we also send people to small groups to share their experiences in small groups, and then come back and discuss.
Yeah, happy to do whatever you feel will be good. Great. Okay, so it's 17 after?
Yeah.
Okay, 22 after.
So Paul, what is your preference? Your preference is to have like an open conversation with people, or to go with small groups for people to discuss, everybody share a little bit about the process and experience? What is your preference? You're on mute.
Thank you. I mean, I'm happy for us to go into breakout groups if you'd like. I think that we can start there and then share out as a whole group. But yeah.
The
I'm
advantage
open.
of that is for everybody who's here to have a voice and to
Yes.
discuss and to share some reactions.
Definitely.
So we have, let's do this for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and we will wrap up. So what the invitation is to talk about the process, not so much about the content in terms of the cases, but the process. What did you learn about the process? What caught your attention? Do you have any particular question, Paul, you would like to ask about the process?
I think just the idea of metaphor, of using metaphors, specifically nature as a metaphor, and obviously not to talk about specific content, but just how when we're able to view something visually and explain it and even ask questions of others using the visual as a reference point, how it can help to expand the way we ask questions, I think is one prompt. And then just, if you can imagine it with a much smaller group, what would happen, and how the conversation may be more lively.
You want to go to one of the rooms?
I'm happy to. I'm happy to. If it like, I will try to be as quiet as possible.
Okay. So let me do. Okay. So let's spend 15 minutes and let you back in 15 minutes.
Okay. Then.
Okay. So we have, I think we have one more person. Ruth, are you there?
No? She's not answering.
Okay.
She's not connected to audio. I don't
no
see
audio.
I don't see the icon.
Okay. So let's go around. Just this is 15 minutes to talk about your experience and what do you learn in the process. You have it?
I thought it was interesting because sometimes when I use metaphors with clients in supervision, I have to bring up more than one metaphor before they can identify with it. You know what I mean? And so one of my clients this week, I asked her, use the dance metaphor, and she said, I don't dance. And then I said, well, she's a very outdoorsy person, so I used the island metaphor, and she actually got into that. But with the trees, I think almost anybody could relate to a tree of some kind, in some way. So it was interesting.
Yes, I think metaphor is very powerful in our supervision. And I usually use it and find that it always creates a new awareness for my coachee and also for me as a supervisor. And using a tree is very special, I think, today. And when I describe the tree, even though I cannot explain it very clearly, but in my heart, I have a very special feeling, and it's full. There is a lot of information in myself, and it's very easy to explain myself to using a metaphor. Yes, this is quite good. When I listen to the other people's descriptions, I have more information jump into my brain, and it opens another awareness too for me too. And sometimes I use metaphors by body language. I let my supervisees to describe some feelings using their body language, just like a tree or just like an animal, and they always have some new awareness. That's very great, I think, today's experience.
So Stephen,
me,
I just
sorry.
wanted to ask, when you use the metaphor with your clients, do you usually suggest something or do you allow them to create their own metaphor?
Usually I let them to create it. If they do not, if I myself have some metaphor, I also tell them look whether they have the same feeling, and usually they like it.
For me, when using metaphor, I'm trying to describe or repainting the client situation to help them to see their own situation from different angles, from different perspectives. That's my intention and purpose when using metaphor. I don't usually imply anything in those. Yeah, that's the way I use metaphor. But go back to our session. Besides, being very into the session, I was observing the way Paul facilitating the group as well. So I see, I see the process. I was very into the session and I enjoyed it a lot as well. But also at the same time, observing the way he's facilitating the group. I see the process from going contracting. Again, it's very important again. And he did it very well with all the contracting. And it was great that he really walked the talk. I mean, he did that. He really, how to put it? Like he followed the rules and follow all the principles that people put out there. So he did role model. That's what I
like bringing the likeness when he was making like jokes or bringing some humor. That was one of the
right.
and then he was being funny or
So that's real. I mean, all those rules and principles comes into life in the session, not just a piece of paper. So that was great from Paul. And then he creates space and time. He makes sure that everyone has a say, that everyone can speak up and share opinions. And he managing time really well, in interrupting, going a little bit deep enough for people to be able to share, but also make sure that everyone can have a say. That was great. And we still can learn a lot from the insights. And he created space for people to, to interact with each other as well. So it's not like only him with different people, but also really as a group, we can interact and we feel much more connected and engaging within the group, not only with him, but also with other people. So yeah, I think so far, that's what I observed. Yeah.
Anything else about the process? Sunny, going to your question before about the metaphors, I think that ideally you want the client to come up with a metaphor. You may ask the client, but every now and then you may come up with something that you can, like as Trump said, but my goal is that the clients come up with own metaphors. But for example, there is one metaphor that I use with many clients. It's about the armor, like to protect themselves. It's like they having an armor. So I may say sometimes it seems we can visualize like you protecting yourself with an armor. So in that way you cannot connect to people. That make any sense to you? So bringing the image and the metaphor, and then I ask a follow-up question. But I may do more about asking the client, asking if you can think of a metaphor, what's come up for you. Or sometimes the clients just bring the metaphor by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they do that, I said, okay, good. Let's take advantage of the metaphor. Let's explore it. Let's stay there. So I love when the clients bring them without even asking them, like, so it's a good opportunity to use that. And when the clients bring a metaphor, I use it during the whole session. I take advantage of that. Yeah. Any other reactions about your experiences going through it, like doing the exercise?
I'm wondering, today we are working in a group, and it's a little difference from we working with individually, and how to make the whole space more bigger and make each person have an opportunity to join it, or make it more
interactive,
motivated, active. Yes. This is what I'm considering. Perhaps this morning time is limited, so the other people do not know how to join it. And if it is a group,
what do you say?
Yes, if it is a group supervision, is that the ways we do in a group?
Well, I think that, as he said, this when he uses it in a group, usually you have 5 people in a group. So I think the goal here was didactically was for everybody to have an experience, but that was the risk. When everybody had an experience, then you cannot go deep. So I'm wondering, as you're asking, if, and I was thinking, well, maybe if he would have done, this is the first time that he does that, but I wonder if he would have to do it again, maybe more interesting just working with one person. Just working one supervision, one person doing the exercise, so everybody can learn more about what kind of questions to ask. Because I think that that's a learning opportunity. What questions you ask will make a big difference about how you relate to the exercise and how deep you go. And he said that this is going to be superficial, it's more like didactically for you to know the exercise. But then in supervision, Stephen, you would like to go deeper. You would like just to see, okay, and what else? And some of the insights were really deep. You see people share, very interesting, deep insights that they were able to use in this exercise, in the metaphor.
Yes. And for example, I choose the same tree with tram, and when tram describes this tree, it makes me a lot of awareness, and I think, oh, it's funny, and you can see through this way, and I have only one way, but you have a lot of elements in your mind. That's very interesting. So I think
thank you, Stephen.
It's amazing.
He said that you choose the same tree with different interpretations, but different meanings too.
Yes.
Yeah. Damien, is it correct that this is like chemistry session, or the first session for a group? How to say? I don't know how to put it, but like, if a group going together, and this is like a first session to get to have everyone to get to know each other, to be
it can be one way. It can be warm up kind of activity for people to get to know each other. Yeah. This is what he's using it. Now, this is all the new technology. This is new for me too, so I'm learning too. I am learning too. Like, this is not. So this is what I want, is like people get an opportunity to learn different things and see different ways of working with this. Now he needs to teach us how to use it, to do the mural, how to get the trees, and that's the next. It's asking him, but I can see how you can be creative. And for example, he have done another one with cards with journeys. Well, you sent it there, you saw it, didn't you? It was really cool.
Yes, I really enjoyed that one.
And then I can assume that, for example, people who like art, like having one with art, with different pieces of art, different sculptures or paintings, or I don't know, I'm thinking boats, you know, you can be pretty creative.
The one with their journeys had different roads during different pathways in the pictures. And you had to find a picture that represented 2020 and one that represented the future, 2021. And some of the people in the group, one who selected the same picture I did, he said the picture was both his past and his future. And it was very interesting because I didn't think about that, but I selected it as 2020 and I found another picture for 2021. So what people see in those pictures is really fascinating.
Yeah, so somebody would like to report to everybody when we come back? Just to share something we shared.
Stephen?
My language is so poor, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, I suggest Trent to tell the other people perhaps it's good.
Okay, Trent, you want to share brief something on the conversation we have here?
All right.
Okay,
Sure.
so let's go to the big group. It's
You unmute.
everyone's on time. Everybody else is just waiting to be pushed by the Zoom. But
Or maybe we're back in the breakout room.
Yes,
Here they come.
exactly. Okay, great. Okay, good. So let's hear from some of you some of the discussions that you have in your small groups conversations. Who would like to start? Lynn, since you're one of our guests, it would be great to.
Oh, thank you. We had a great conversation and I think lots came out. So one of the things we talked about is how the way, not just the tree people talked about, but what they chose and how they chose to speak about it gave us some really interesting insights about their perspective and the fact that some people talked about their clients, some talked about themselves as a coach, and some went more to context was really interesting. One of the people in the group said, you know, pretty cool talking about trees during COVID, a time when a lot of us are really, you know, thinking more about nature and ecology and that particular metaphor. And that the metaphor was so helpful, whether it was that or it could have been clouds or could have been mountains or whatever you chose, even people, supports getting insights and more transformative learning as opposed to black and white problem solving. And that's really the territory of supervision. And then the last part of our conversation, we talked about nervousness. And I said, you know, Paul's so relaxed. If I was doing this and I couldn't find the tree, I'd probably be freaking out a little bit and, you know, just wanting people to pick any tree and get on with it. And, but we also thought that was a bit of a parallel process in some ways, because we were working with uncertainty and ambiguity in a lot of ways at the beginning of something where we're coming together and starting to explore something new. So I think that was kind of it. My group, do you want to add anything further? Lou or Nagesh?
Excellent, Lynn. Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, we're also talking about the during the process that we use the 7-eye model to see from different eye.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the idea that you could have different eyeballs up there, right? And have people an eye and then use that as the lens through which they wanted to discuss a case. So not just as a way of bringing a group together at the beginning, but once you're underway and you're doing case reflection together.
Yeah. I want to jump in and share. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm playing around with a different mural beyond this, where we actually get into the eyes and move the trees and have different perspectives. So yeah, very cool. Lots of fun things to play with.
So from Paul, from your group, who were in your trial?
We had Sue and Tracy and Andre. I was talking too much, so I'm gonna.
One of you want to share?
Let me share a bit. I have learned a lot in this small group conversation. I learned from the other guy, from Sue, for example, that it is these things is very useful if we come across someone who is too analytical, using a lot of left brain, and this kind of tools helps us to open the right brain actually of the coachee or the client. It's very useful because also Sue has used this metaphor a lot based on her experience. And from Tracy, I've learned also that it is very good implemented in team coaching. And it helps everyone to speak up, especially if they have language problem. For example, if we come across a team with different culture, different background and different languages, and this can help everyone to open up and to be more relaxed and acceptance. I have that also from Paul. Thank you very much. That is from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew, for sharing. Anybody want to add anything else before we move on to the next group? Tracy, so? No? So in the other group, we were with Tram and Sunny and Steven. Tram, do you want to share briefly what?
Right, yeah. In our group, we all enjoyed a lot the session. We got a lot of good insights, and we love all the sharing from people. And we also see how amazing metaphor is that when we can use in different situations, you know, like coaching or coach supervision. And I also share a little bit about my observation in the way Paul was facilitating the group as well, the process from contracting to, you know, creating space for everyone, making sure that everyone have a say, and create the, Paul did a great job in, you know, following all the rules in the contracting part. He did role model that in a great way, and also he helped to have to build a connection between among everyone in the group, not like one-to-one with him as a facilitator, but really among people, and creating a group connection really strong. And that's what we enjoyed a lot. Yep.
Thank you, Tram. Any the last group who have not shared yet?
We talked about how it came up how not everybody is visual. And so then Steve had the idea of, yeah, so what if you had something auditory, like different types of songs, like Led Zeppelin and Bach, and so it just kind of led us into this fun place of recognizing that really whoever is, it's a projective process, and that it's really, Danny was talking beautifully about the mirror and how really, even though the people were talking about their practice or them as a coach or their client, they were really reflecting something about themselves. And so it was fun to listen in that way. And then we kind of came back around, and I said, well, even if people aren't visual, everybody can look at a picture and get something out of it, because we all look at pictures in magazines or photographs or whatever. So yeah, anything else, you guys? Steve or Danny?
Just that I'm very interested now after speaking with Lily Cito yesterday. I'm really interested in group supervision. So I could see how this would be a great exercise to jumpstart the process. So I really enjoyed it a lot.
Sunny, so you are on mute. So I don't hear you.
A build on what Kimberly was just saying, one of the things that came up in our group from the standpoint also of group supervision is in international teams, pictures, music, any of those, modalities are universal. And so we can move away from language, which often gets us stuck into a whole other place of being with people. And we really saw power in that space.
Yeah, that we're going to be covering in a couple of weeks. We're going to start working on group supervision. So we'll go and we'll spend time going through the process. It was great that you had today an opportunity to see Paul doing a demonstration. And I do believe that maybe the decision today was ambitious because it was not only about group supervision, but was having everybody the opportunity to practice and understand how it feels and how it works. And what I was thinking, Paul, what can be a really good idea if you're up to it is to do a recording of one-on-one, doing the exercise with the trees, but with one coach who is willing to be recorded, because then people can also learn what are the questions you may ask. Because as everybody, you could see the power of questions from the colleagues, and it's not only from the supervisor, but from other colleagues too. You were asking you very effective questions to make you think and reflect on the metaphor. So there is a lot of value in doing that. So if you are okay with that, Paul, if you want to do it, I do believe that.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think there would be a lot of value in that. And there's so much power in, like I said, using the image to inspire the questions as well. It almost allows the tree to be a part of the process. And I'm happy to try that out, and I'll share that with you.
Paul did an amazing one on Lego, and I'm going to be sharing that with you. Okay. Because we cannot do everything again. So I'm going to share with you what he prepared for Lego from last cohort. So you can also have an opportunity to see him working using Lego in the future if you want to do that. Kimberly, were you going to say anything before we wrap up?
Just reminded me of one other thing we talked about in our group was the nature of the question and how the question Paul asked brought the group together in a certain way, and any question could have been asked. Like if you're trying to bring together a group, it could be something like choose a tree that represents something about you that you want to bring into this group or whatever. So that the notion that the question then kind of different kinds of questions can direct the process in different ways, just like coaching and supervision.
Yeah.
And if I may, Damien, the next time you're having a holiday party, perhaps we could use types of wine or chocolate or cakes and, really mix it up a bit, okay?
I agree. I think it's a great idea.
So
Paul,
Damien,
before we go, anything you would like to say before we go, just to wrap up? And I guess you want to say something before?
Yeah, just a quick question or a thought, Paul. I wonder, this is such a powerful metaphor and a powerful exercise. Thank you so much. I wonder if you have used this to talk about more challenging topics or topics that people feel uncomfortable talking about. And Sunny, please feel free to jump in. Is, talking about racism, discrimination, because I was curious about the trees you chose. And I was thinking based on the trees you chose or plants or flowers or whatever we choose, a way to think about, we have our favorites, we have things we don't like, we think weeds are bad. So I wonder if you've used that, and I wonder if there are benefits in making this a little deeper in terms of challenging topics and providing a space for connection.
A wonderful question. So I'll end sharing a bit more. Definitely, when I mean, we all know, or we're learning to know, just the power that metaphor, visually, or just or using metaphors, allows us to build bridges where there may be a chasm that we don't emotionally aren't able to connect with, or we may be unable to use words, or even fearful of using words, where we can use an image or a metaphor to be able to explain it. In terms of something that to discuss racism or social justice, I haven't really thought about it in that terms, or had a specific, tried to facilitate a conversation using that as the foundation. But I think it would be really powerful, and I think that metaphors, and if you recall, and I mentioned it again when I encouraged others, when I encouraged the group to use the tree to ask the questions, as if we were using something outside of ourselves, or having the tree ask a question, that allows us to move into areas where we may not feel as comfortable, and we're actually kind of co-creating a conversation where we could lean into spaces where we may not feel we even have a right to ask, by having the tree or having the metaphor be the object that we are talking about. Hopefully that answered your question, and even more. And I obviously love talking about metaphors and visual collaboration. And like I shared before, this was a fairly static exercise, meaning you all joined and watched me organize. What is really powerful is when everybody gets a chance to learn Mural and comes in together and co-creates it together. So if you would imagine, if there was a whiteboard where we had the different 7 eyes, and people were to move, people had the agency to move their tree to an eye and ask a question from that eye, or have other participants in the group put a sticky note in one eye, or ask another question from a different perspective. It really allows for visual collaboration. And what that allows us to do, and I'll take one more second, it allows us to have more nodes to carry more nodes of information in our brain. When we're putting information up on the wall, or holding information in our hands, which I do with Legos, right? That allows us for the information, the thought, to stay here, and allows the rest of our brain to go deeper into other areas, and we can come back to it. So we can go even deeper because we're able to hold more nodes of information. So that's the power of why I love visually collaborating with clients. So thank you for letting me share that.
That was great. Are you going to? I hear that Lily told me that you may be doing an orientation or a training or a.
I will. I've gotten a lot of people are really enjoying learning a bit about coaching, group coaching, team coaching, and supervision. So I'm putting together a very small training around what I'm doing to create templates, and Mural, definitely there's a very brief but steep learning curve, and having somebody that is coming from a coaching mindset to explain it and help people has been welcomed. So I am putting that together, and I will be sharing it. Hopefully, if you're okay, Damien, I'll share it with you, and you can pass it along.
Yes, as soon as you have something in play, let me know so I can share that with you.
And it's really just my way of giving back to this wonderful community. I feel so fortunate to be a part of it. So I will be. That it's coming to a monitor near you.
Okay, that's great. So thank you, Paul. Time to go. Time to wish everybody happy holidays. I hope that you have a nice closing of the year with the loved ones. So let's go around and say one word that you want to say goodbye and happy holidays, because we're not going to see each other until next year. We're not meeting next week. And remember, the first week of February, in January, when we meet, you're going to be meeting with your small groups. You have your last group practice, your trial practice with your supervisors in small groups. So we are not meeting together here. So let's go around. Just say anything you want to say.
Happy holidays. See you next year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy holidays and thank you.
May you experience inner and outer peace.
Thanks.
Eat as much as you want.
I already started. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, and drink as much as you want, Steve. Thank you.
I'll follow that. So cheers. There's a champagne glass that's been waiting. All right. So cheers to the beginnings. Cheers to the beginnings. Yes.
Oh, cheers, cheers,
This
cheers.
is really-
I'm just gonna say, happy holidays and safe, healthy 2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just honoring how I love how I feel like our group, that our class is, it's like we're coming together, we're deepening, it's just starting to feel, you know, more connected. And so I'm looking for even more connection and lightness and joy and learning in the new year.
Great to hear.
Thanks for playing.
Wait, Damien.
Well, I already said my best wishes for next year. That I hope to. What I always say, I hope 2021 is better than 2020. Okay, that's my hope. And thanks everybody for participating today. Thanks all of the guests who are still here. Let me know for the participants. Send me a note letting me know if it is okay or not to share this recording. We talked, Kimberly, you asked for confidentiality at the beginning of the program. And I don't know if anybody feel uncomfortable sharing this recording with people who were not here. So some of the graduates from the program asked me if I can share the recording. So I don't want to put you on the spot here. Send me a note and let me know if it is okay or not to share this recording. If you would rather me not to share the recording, no problem. Okay? So let me know about that. Okay, everybody, happy holidays. We'll see you next year. Great.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.